Alright, so I just want to go through a couple tools that are pretty useful when designing responsive websites. First up, we have Easel, which is basically a browser designer. It obviously doesn't give you the flexibility of something like Photoshop, but you can design simple responsive layouts. So you can get here at easel.io, and I'm just going to start the demo. They have a nice little demo that'll let you create a simple layout. And there's also, I mean, you can pay and get different kind of packages, but I'm just going to stick with this free account. And you can see this little layout they've given us. And up here, we can change the size. So this would be for a desktop. This would be on a tablet. And then we have the mobile version. Alright, so let's go along with the demo. It's asking us to change some text, so let's just change this to stay updated with us. And let's make sure that that stays for the mobile view. And we can choose a font. Let's say Railway. And it's saying that we can export to HTML and CSS. We don't want to do that yet. And if you X out of the helper or the demo bubble, you're going to get this to create an account. But I'm just going to X this out and deal with what we have here. Let's see. Over here, we can grab different elements. Let's see. Row. Alright, so form. So we can easily just drag in a text input. Let's see, button. Drag in a button. We can change this. We click on placeholder and replace that. We'll just say enter email address. Change the text to this button to send. You can see if we're on mobile view, we can still see it. Let's change the background color. And you can do stuff like that. You can change the background image, all that under the document menu item. So background color, we can just choose it to kind of match that image. Alright. And let's make a little footer here. If we go up, we can put, let's say, body text. Drag that. And let's say, I can't see it. We'll say copyright 2013 Eduonix. Let's see if we can center this. Okay, so let's center that text. We can change the font size if we want. I'm going to change it to 20 pixels. Alright, so now we have a little footer. We can give it some padding. So we have top, right, left, bottom. Let's add 50 to the, let's add 20 to the top and 20 to the bottom. And we'll add some margin at the top. We'll say 50 so we can bring it down. And let's give it a background color. Let's see, border if we click on in the background, we can change the color and the opacity. I'm going to change it to dark gray, and the text will make white. Alright, so now you see we just have a simple email capture, which can be desktop, tablet, and mobile. You can see the footer is centered. I mean, this isn't the best looking application or website, but you get the idea of what you can do here. And you can easily change the background image as well. If you go to Document, Update Background Image, I have this dark wood background, and we can repeat that. Alright, so now we have this nice little app. On this text, let's add a little padding. We'll add 5 padding on each side, which makes it centered. More centered, I guess. And let's change the line height. You can see we can change it from 40. Let's change it to 60 pixels. Alright, so that looks better. And if we want this, if we create a design and we're done, you can, without signing up, go to export the documents HTML CSS, and it'll give you the code, and you can copy it and then paste it in a document. You know, get the images, stuff like that. If you want to get it all nicely wrapped up, you want to export the project's HTML CSS, you have to sign up to use this feature. So I'm not sure if, let's just try to sign up. Actually, I think I might have already signed up. Let's see. Alright, so email. So I do have an account. So let me just let me log in. It should save our application. Oh. I guess it didn't save it. Okay. Hopefully it comes back. Alright, so learn from my mistake. Create your account first, log in, and then do the demo. Because I'm pretty sure I just lost everything that I just did. But anyway, so you saw what you can do with Easel, and you can create new projects and do different things. You can share the project, add pages. You can use a template. They have the Bootstrap templates here as well. So that's Easel. So it's a pretty nice design program. Obviously, it's not going to give you a ton of flexibility, but you can add elements and you can add background images, stuff like that. So that's Easel. So let's cross that off the list. Next thing I want to show you is the Matt Kearsley responsive tool, and it shows us all versions of a site at the same time. There's a lot of different emulators out there we could go to for the iPhone, for the Android, for iPad, but this just shows all of them to us. Let me just... So you can see it goes all the way up to 1024. So let's find, we will actually test our project after we build it, but let's test the site. Let's see, let's take a look at the Bootstrap website. Just get that out of there. So you can see Bootstrap is definitely obviously responsive. So let's check that out in the tester. And you can see each version is nicely formatted and has a nice layout. 240 is very small. I'm not sure what device that would be on. I guess some of the really small smartphones. But 320 is usually the smallest. So you can see we can go over 768, which is the usually iPads and big tablets, and then the 1024. So that's a really helpful testing tool. It's pretty much the only one I use, but there are others. So let's get rid of that. This here is Dablet.com, and this is a web editor. And we're at a very low resolution, so you can't really, you couldn't use it like this. If you have like a 1920 by 1280 resolution or something like that, then this works a lot better. And you can actually make it vertical if you want to as well. So let's just try it out. If we go up here, we have a couple different options. We have our HTML, which we start out with nothing. So let's just give it a heading. We'll say H1. Welcome to my site. All right, so you can see it just sets on the screen as you type. Now we can go to our CSS, and let's just get rid of this and put a body tag. So we'll give it a background of black, and we can grab our H1 and give that a color of white. And you can see you can just use this as your editor if you want. Let's do a little more with it. We'll say div ID container, and it disappears if you have an unfinished div or something like that. It's going to screw up the layout, but once you finish it, it'll come back. Okay, so if we go to our CSS, style our container, you can see it disappeared because our document is messed up at the time that we're typing it, but it comes back. So the container, let's give that a background of, we'll say, dark gray. Give it a width of 960. And we want margin 0 auto to bring it into the middle. Overflow auto, and we'll give it a height of 500 pixels. Alright, so you can see we can just build our site like this, but I'm not going to use this in this series because of the low resolution. We can't really see the whole thing. If you're like me and you need a lot of space and you have 2 or 3 monitors, you can stretch this out so that you can see your actual project on one screen and your coding on the other. So, and you can change that right here in settings. You can say vertical. So that works out better for me. So that's Dablet, and there's a lot of these. Code Anywhere is another good one, and some of the other ones I mentioned in the last video. So this is Bootstrap. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not, but it is a very powerful HTML5 responsive framework. The latest version now is Bootstrap 3. Bootstrap 2.3, the last version was, it had this different syntax, so just pay attention to what version you're using, because some things won't work that worked in 2.3. Okay, Bootstrap 3 is actually looked at as mobile first, and what that means is the framework basically starts at mobile and moves to desktop, unlike in the past we would always start at the desktop version and move down to the mobile. Alright, so let's just look at a couple things here. We can easily download Bootstrap. Alright, the distribution comes in a zip file, and well, obviously we're going to look into all this in the Bootstrap section of the video of the series, but we can, let's take a look. Like I said, mobile first. Responsive images, all stuff that we've talked about. Grids, it has a really powerful grid system. Media queries, grid options. There's a ton of documentation, and it's really nice and clear. Let's see, typography, your H1, H2 tags, bold, italics, and you can get the code for anything. Let's see, tables. You have some nice clean tables, and for instance, if you create a table and you want it to look like this, all you need to do is add the class of table, and it'll be formatted like this. If you want it like this, you just throw this table stripped in the class. Bordered, use table bordered class. So it's all about just naming classes. It's actually really easy. Different components, we can use these different icons, button groups, so you have different style buttons. It's really awesome. It really is. JavaScript, we have different, we can have drop downs very easily, so no manual programming of drop downs. It's very easy to do. So like I said, we'll look more into this in the next part. Next we have Foundation, which is similar to Bootstrap in that it's an HTML5 responsive framework, but honestly I haven't really used it. I know it's really powerful, but I haven't actually used it. So if you want, you can go to the site, and looks like they have different templates, icons, fonts, pretty much the same thing as Bootstrap. Some case studies, you can look at other sites that use it. So that's just another framework. Alright, so here we have, we're at jamis.co.uk, and it's just basically just another tester. You can test the site with different devices, and different orientations. Here we have the landscape version. Alright, so it'll just show you the different layouts. Basically the same thing that the Matt Kearsley site does, except you're not seeing them all at the same time. Alright, so that's it for the tools. There's obviously a lot more, but we don't have time to go through all of them. We'll be using, for a standalone editor, we'll be using Notepad++. If you're on a Mac, I'd suggest TextMate or another simple, lightweight program. So that's it. Hopefully you have a good foundation or a good understanding of what responsive web design is. So now we can get into some actual programming.